It's your favorite compas, and we are back after a 1 month hiatus with plenty of sports content on this your favorite show. The compas were at UFC 290 this past weekend. We go over the disappointing fight night for all the Mexican fighters in our Certified Compas segment. We are still at the low point of the NFL season, but we have you covered with our top NFL offenses going into the season in our compas on the NFL beat segment. Then for rapid fire, we pick which NFL quarterback would win the home run derby between Josh Allen and Joe Burrow, better known as Joe Burrow. And as always, we bring on Dan and Daygo and Vic, the producer, for Burial of the Week and Avocado Roast. Which reminds me, Gilberto, don't you have a question for the viewers and or listeners?
Oh, yes, I do. It's been a whole month since I've asked a question. Engagement question of the week. I need a sound for that still. We didn't get that, Victor. I will figure it out. But it was a rough weekend for the Mexicans in Las Vegas. Not for these two right here because we had a good time. We'll get into it. Yeah. But the question is, Brandon Moreno against Pantoja. Hopefully I'm saying his name right. Moreno Pantoja had a great fight in Las Vegas, UFC 290. But that was the third time they fought, and all three losses for Moreno. Do you want to see it again or fourth time? Moreno versus Pantoja. Brazil versus Mexico. 4 times. Do you want to see it? Let me know in the comments. Audio listeners, get to YouTube and comment and let us know what you think about that one.
I'm with Dana White. I would like to see it once again. But another guy I know you guys want to see is Dan and Daygo. It's been a 1 month without you guys seeing that cowboy hat wearing son of a gun. So let's go to him now.
Welcome all to another glorious Wednesday. You already know what it is. It is not only one day closer to the weekend. It is not only hump day, but it is the day that your favorite program, Compas on the Beat, drops a new episode. You already know what it is. Your boy Dan and Daygo's here to remind you of a few things. Do not forget, we have a merch store now with a lot of cool things. We got hoodies. We got hats. We got t-shirts. We got stickers. And we might have pins. Everybody loves pins. I don't know if it's up yet, but if not, you can go slide in that Stooges DMs to find out if Gilberto's going to put it up or not. And also, do not forget to check out all the stuff from UFC 290. There's a lot of great content up there. And you already know you're hyped up for another episode because we got Certified Compas coming up to you. We got Compas on the NFL beat. We got rapid fire. Then the boys come in and shoot the breeze for a little bit. We appreciate you all. Shout out to all of you guys. But anyway, enough of the dilly-dally, let's get to the program. It's time to get to the best damn program in all the universe. From all the way across the hallway. Play the music, Nando!
Welcome to Compas on the Beat. I'm Fernando Ramirez. I cover the Chargers for the Sporting Tribune. With me, as always, my co-host, my tag team partner, Gilbert Manzano. He covers the NFL for Sports Illustrated. What's up, bro?
A lot is up, Fernando. Honestly, I forgot we had a podcast. It's been that long. It's been a month. We were coming back from Vegas. I was tired. I got a text from Victor asking about the rundown. I'm like, what the hell are we doing? I'm tired. I don't want to do a podcast. But then I hear you here, doing an intro, and I remember the fun that we have here, and it's good to be back, and I love hearing your intros. A couple practices for you, but it is rusty for us, and I'm sure I'm going to mess up many times here on this podcast, but it doesn't matter. We like to have fun here.
Oh my God, it's been rough. I completely forgot. I even have to remember, okay, how do I start it? I'm like, oh yeah, this way. So yeah, it's been a little bit of a break, obviously much needed, especially because give us a little bit of time off, time to get ready, because just to let you guys, you guys gotta get ready, because this is gonna be a long NFL season, especially for both of us, obviously splitting our time with everything we got going. It'll be interesting to see how Gilbert does this year with his new beat, obviously being with Sports Illustrated. It's going to be interesting to see how he splits his time, where he's at. So definitely be on the lookout for that. Follow him obviously on Twitter and on Threads.
Hey,
Gilbert, we left and we came back, and now Threads is a thing. Are you on Threads? I just mentioned it. You are on Threads, right?
You know what? I am on Threads, but you know what? I'm gonna change my mind. I'll make 2 burials a week. Sorry, Victor, because I just thought about it. I have some issues with Threads, but I am on it. I will save it for burials because I actually had a good one. Okay. So I have 2. But yeah, there you go. That's where I'm making the mistakes today. But I am on Threads, and it's cool. It's kind of something different, and you kind of feel like, oh, we're like, where are we in a new club here? And it's kind of like the first days of TikTok, where I guess I was kind of late to TikTok, but earlier than most reporters, I would say that. But I am on there, and I guess you can find me in the same one, G Manzano 24. I just got on my phone notification from Threads, and it's kind of annoying because
I take the notifications off.
Because people are trying to like get on it, so you get notified every time somebody adds you. I'm not saying I'm popular. You have more followers than I do. All right. Or what do we call them on Threads? But I am on there. But the question, Fernando, I want to ask you is like, now that we start getting back into football mode and we have to kind of do play-by-play tweets.
Am I going to be threading or tweeting? Is that your question?
And I think I'm done with
paste, brother. Copy paste.
It's going to be tough, man. I don't want to do another one, but I started seeing people now going on Threads doing the kind of the reporter mode. And I'm like, is that where we're heading, or we're doing both or not? And I'm like,
I'm doing both.
Because I'm like, if we're going over to Threads, I'm going to turn off everybody who have on notifications, except you, Fernando, by the way, because you get that special treatment. But everybody else, I'm taking you off. I don't care anymore. But how are you going to approach it?
I'm gonna do both. Copy paste. I'm gonna have them both open on my laptop. You know what's funny? I think Gilbert was the one that made fun of me for this. One time we were at Chargers and during a game, and everybody's on the computer tweeting, and I'm on my phone tweeting. He's like, "You tweet from your phone?" I'm like, "Dude, I'm way too slow to tweet on my computer." I'm like, "I have to do it on my phone." I'm like, "Bang, bang, 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 let's go."
I'm like, do that.
I can't do it.
Is there going to be an app on the laptop to do Threads?
I don't know. Oh, that's what people are asking. Is there going to be like the thing where you get a Twitter? Yeah, that. People are asking if that's going to happen, but obviously Zuckerberg and what's his name and Musk are too busy. They're too busy suing each other, trying to promote a fight. By the way, at UFC 290, did you see the guy behind us that had the shirt Musk versus Zuckerberg?
I was just gonna tell you, and he has Musk versus Zuckerberg, and on the side it said UFC. I'm like, is UFC already trying to get money off monetizes? Are they gonna promote the fight? Because they have that look like a legit shirt. I'm like, I kind of want that.
I wanted one. I honestly was gonna ask him where he got it, but he didn't look like he was in the friendliest of moods. So like I didn't want to ask him, but
it looked like a legit shirt. Or you think he made it? Like
no, it looked legit. It looked like something like it's not like the guy outside $5. No, it looked like a legit like t-shirt that you get. So I was like, wow, like that actually when I first saw him, I thought it was like a Rey Mysterio because it looked similar to like a Rey Mysterio t-shirt. And then I like in one of those I turned around and I saw and I was like, oh wow. I was like, it says Musk versus Zuckerberg. I'm like, this is awesome. I'm like, that's pretty funny. So I definitely, if I could find one, I would definitely cop one of those shirts.
Yeah, and it was same here. But it got me thinking because like I would like to see that match. I'm like, would I pay for it? How much would I pay for it? I am on board to seeing just kind of just two billionaires kind of like beating each other.
No, two nerds. I want to see two nerds go at it.
Yeah, but I'm like, you guys have never been in a fight in your life. Let's see it.
Exactly, and obviously, it'd be funny to see. It'd be interesting to see how much you'd have to like. Would they do it for free? Would it go to charity? Like, what would happen?
And by the way, Elon Musk is already getting training from GSP, Georgia St. Pierre, supposedly. So he's getting.
Oh, really?
That's what he mentioned.
Honestly, though, if they do this, I would honestly want to see Robert Carradine from Revenge of the Nerds. I want him to referee it. The guy from Revenge of the Nerds, Lizzie McGuire's dad in the Lizzie McGuire show. That guy, Revenge of the Nerds. I want to see him referee it. Yeah. That guy,
the guy from Spaceballs, right?
Yeah. He was in Revenge of the Nerds. So obviously, I'd like to see him do it. But yeah, definitely. I'll be copying and pasting from Twitter to Thread. There's no like trend, like we don't even know what's trending, like we don't know any of that, right? On Threads,
I don't know. I haven't done enough research.
I haven't I haven't done a deep dive.
I was like, I gotta do a tweet, and I don't know what the hell this.
And then it's funny. Gilbert was surprised because obviously now there's a number under your Instagram profile, and Gilbert goes, "Yeah, I'm like the 7th million person to jump on there." And I look at mine, I'm like, oh, I'm 300,000. He's like, what? He's like, how did you like, how quickly did you download it? I was like, oh, I saw people down. I was like, oh, I'll go and see what it is.
How did you find out so quickly to be in the under 1 million? Because that number means when you signed up.
Yeah.
So how did you find out so quickly? Wow. I'm like, what the hell is this?
I just saw somebody. I think our good friend Doug Keat, I think he signed up, And I was like, oh, you know what? If Doug's on there, I'm like, I'm gonna sign up. By the way, we do want to send a shout out to his daughter Haley. She does have a big week this week, with everything that she's going through. So we want to send our love and support to Doug and his family, and hope that everything goes well with his daughter in her battle right now. So definitely want to send a shout out. But yeah, I saw him do it, and I was like, well, if Doug's doing it, I'm gonna do it too. So I did it. So it was pretty interesting.
Well, now I'm curious. Now I want to check Doug's bio on IG and see what number he has. Because
Yeah, he probably. I think
I actually I saw you did it, and I was gonna do it, and then I was like, I gotta download an app. I'm good. So I waited 2 days, and by then I was in the 7 million range.
would have been 350,000 maybe.
Apparently, bro. I don't know.
But,
And then it makes me one more thing before we might move on. But when you see it on your profile, it says, join threads, and it comes up, a little ticket comes up, right? Like a special ticket.
Yeah.
And I felt like I was invited exclusively, like to some like VIP thing. I was like, it was just for everybody. So
Gilbert thought he was in Willy Wonka's chocolate factory, and he got a golden ticket. He got excited, but obviously it wasn't that. But Gilbert, obviously you spent all last week in Vegas for UFC 290. I got there Saturday. I was only there for 22 hours. And a lot of interesting stuff happened, Gilbert. Gilbert rented an Airbnb, and he graciously let me crash there the only night that I was there. And right around 4:45 in the morning, this is basically what happened outside of the Airbnb.
It's okay.
You're pathetically predictable.
So when it was about 4:45 in the morning, and I was dreaming about something, and I heard screaming in my dream, and I woke up. They were screaming outside of our Airbnb, and I'm like, what is going on? Obviously, I'm not one of those people that's gonna rush outside and be like, oh, what's going on, and be Superman. Hell no, I'm gonna stay inside. I'm gonna wait. I grabbed obviously the closest thing I had to me, and I'm like, there was a girl who was drunk yelling at her boyfriend. She was going around to every single door, banging on them, saying, let me in, let me in. I have watched too many TikTok videos. I've watched too many videos about some of the stuff going on, some of the okey doke tricks. They were not going to get me. At 5:15, Gilbert texts me, is somebody banging on our effing door? I say, yes, there is a lady. She is drunk. She is yelling. She is cursing. And she is going around to every single door and banging on it. And he's like, wow. He's like, have you investigated this? I'm like, I have watched too many movies and all this stuff to go out there. But oh my God, she was at it for about 30 minutes. I was waiting for somebody else to come out and do something about it. Nobody did. She finally, I guess, went back into her Airbnb or wherever she was staying, and she crawled back into her hole basically. And but she woke me up very early. Gilbert and I had probably fallen asleep at 2:45, probably 3, and at 4:45 there was already banging on the door. So it was a weird night, to say the least.
Yeah, and it was a night that we're gonna be up late the longest, and then get up the earliest. The next day we had to get up to drop you off at the airport like at 5:30 a.m.
And we didn't even go out with Adam Hill or Emmanuel Morgan at all. We just went after the UFC event straight back.
You didn't want to do the post game show or the post fight show because you were so tired. I got out of it because I was behind the camera. So, but yeah, it was not a good ending to the trip, but it was a good week overall. And maybe I'll start there. Like I became the cameraman for the week, and go check out all the videos that we got. I'm still learning, so you're seeing some of the stuff that hey, this could be better. I know we will get it, but overall, I'm seeing people check out the views. I saw the views and the likes there. So in the comments too, people are not happy with the Usman video. They're saying Usman's not the boogeyman.
I saw that.
Check that out. Dana White was all over the Compas on the Beat channel. We had Sean O'Malley, the Mexicans that disappointed. We'll get it to right now real quick. Brandon Moreno, Jerry Rodriguez, Wokanowski, what? Plenty of content on the channel there. So it was a good week. And I even got to see Power Slap, Fernando. Adam Hill's favorite event in Las Vegas, Power Slap. And I got to hang out with Adam too, which is also, I don't know, hanging out with Adam or Power Slap, which one was better? I can't figure it out. But it was a very eventful week in Las Vegas, and I feel like I needed that. It's been a long time since I've been there for a minute.
Yeah. No, we need to go back. The heat was the only thing that kind of got to me, but other than that, like I was actually pretty fine. I didn't think the heat was that bad. I thought it was going to be a lot worse, but I think it's the wet heat that gets you, like the one that's like the humidity and all that in Florida. But I was as soon as I see Adam, he's like, well, yeah, these lightweights didn't want to come out longer. I start laughing. I'm like, right away, he just tells me these lightweights talking about Gilbert. And I just started laughing. I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, but yeah, it was good. While Gilbert was playing cameraman, I was uploading videos and stuff. And obviously talking to Adam Hill and because obviously I didn't get to see Adam all that long. So I was like, oh, okay, I'll chat it up with him. And it's always good to see him. He's honestly, in this business, you meet a lot of different people, and Adam's really one of those guys that really looks out for you, and he's a great guy. So it was definitely awesome to see Adam. But Gilbert, obviously, this was my first time at a UFC event. And before anything, I gotta shout out the UFC because the media food was on point. I actually usually complain about media food. I actually thought they did a really good job. And then guess what? After the event is over, they don't take the food away and take everything away. No, they add to it. They brought subs out for everybody to have, to eat. Chips and sodas were there all along. It's not like at SoFi where they take the food. As soon as the journalists go down to go get interviews, they take everything away. No, here they give you more. It was, I thought it was a pretty cool thing.
They had a barista too and an ice cream machine.
So we get there, and first Gilbert gets up. He's like, hey, I'm gonna go get a coffee. I was like, whoa. I was like, did I mishear you? I'm like, you're gonna go get what? He's like, a coffee. I'm like, dude, it is hot as hell, and you're gonna get a coffee. He's like, I haven't had my coffee today. I'm like, okay, that explains a lot. I'm like, go get your coffee. And it's funny because I saw the barista a couple of times. People would go order and come and sit down. The barista would bring it right to them. I'm like, wow, this is impressive. So,
oh wow,
definitely a cool. It was cool for the first time for me being there. I thought the UFC thing was definitely awesome.
Yeah, so I used to cover it a lot, when I was in Vegas, and that actually was my first time covering UFC since I moved back. So 2018, about 4 or 5 years, I haven't covered a UFC event, and I kept trying to tell you how it's gonna be. I'm like, and then I wasn't sure, and it was kind of mostly the same there. They have a lot of interviews come out after each fighter, and then the main event, people pretty hyped up. We were trying to watch Robbie Lawler from the arena, and he did his work in 17 seconds, 38 seconds.
We tried to turn the corner to go sit down in the media seating, and oh my God, and Gilbert and I run back to see what happened.
See, that's the thing that maybe I could segue here. Like, people were saying it was a very exciting card. For me, it didn't feel like it for two reasons. Because we were really busy working, because they pump out these interviews quickly, and it's one after another. You have to do all these. That's why YouTube
and they bring in guys like Sean O'Malley. Like,
and,
you didn't even know that Usman. We didn't know that they were gonna talk.
I was hoping Adesanya would come in because he was there.
I wanted Juliana Pena because I wanted to ask her about, hey, like, are you gonna call her Nunez out and try and get her to come back and fight,
or even Donald Trump? But I don't know. Wink, wink. But yeah, the segue is, that felt like I was busy, but then it was kind of disappointing because all the Mexicans lost. Besides, shout out to Jesus Aguilar, the most basic Mexican name ever, but he had a nice knockout, right? 17 seconds, and he starts out the card that way. I think he might have been the second, maybe second, but then he was the first of 5 Mexicans, and then all the rest of the 4 of them lost. The Mexicans.
Gilbert and I turned to her and we go 1-0. Let's go.
and then we're keeping tabs on the girl, the low Mexican girl. I'm like, oh, she's a favorite. And then we saw the Brazilian girl with the neck tattoo. I'm like, is they gonna go? Well, sure enough, she got knocked out quickly, and it was just brutal. And you could tell, like, the thing about UFC International Week, you saw a lot of people from different countries there to cover, like, their respected, or not their respected, their fellow countrymen. You saw some Aussies there, you saw some Brazilians, you saw some Mexicans, and you could tell there's some of the Brazilians was like, yeah, and they were like cheering on all the ones. And Gilbert Burns, by the way, nice name, also Brazilian, was crying seeing Pantoja beat Moreno. That's how much I care over there in Brazil for the MMA fighters. But that was a letdown for the Mexicans, though.
No, it was. But honestly, Gilbert, I actually thought the Moreno fight and the Pantoja fight, I thought it carried the whole event, and really, I was really impressed by both fighters. The fight that Moreno had, really, the dude, like, there was 3 times that I thought he was gonna get tapped out, and he was able to maneuver. He stayed patient. He was able to get around. I thought that was pretty cool. The guy Alonso, that guy stood out to me. That he's a former, I can't remember his last name, but he's
Manifield, I think.
Mainfield. He's a former Arena League football player turned UFC fighter. I was like, oh wow, that's actually pretty cool. So, And that was the only question I asked. I asked him about the patience that he had
Oh,
during
yeah.
the fight, and he actually opened up, which was actually he's like, thank you so much for asking about that patience. And Gilbert, they thank you. Like, these guys are actually really nice guys. Like, they just took a beating, or they won, so they beat the crap out of somebody. Then they come in and they thank us for our questions. I'm like, oh, hey, like, this is pretty cool.
Dude, and yeah, one thing I noticed for UFC interviews, like each guy got like 20 or 30 minutes. I'm like, how many times
Oh
I
my
gotta
god, I
talk to
thought it was.
the prelim dude? But I guess people really care. So like we're the ones that
Well,
get out of here.
you and I are used to 5 to 6 minute interviews with NFL players. Like, we're not used to 25, 30 minutes.
Dude, when we were talking to Bo Nickel during the Moreno Pantoja fight, I'm like, get him off the stage. I want to watch this fight. But I feel bad for the dude. But we still they still paid him attention and talked to him.
Oh my god, I know. That was definitely funny. But Gilbert, let's just start off with well, that was what do you think is next for Moreno and Yair Rodriguez after both of them lost on Saturday?
Well, the Moreno's a little tricky only because he's lost 3 times to the dude. One doesn't really count because it was on the either Ultimate Fighter. Yeah, Ultimate Fighter.
Yeah.
And one was before the evolution of Brandon Moreno. And then it kind of feels like, okay, you lost 3 times, but the first 2 don't really count. So maybe it's 0-1. And then also how good that fight was. You know, people are calling it fight of the year. You know, so people who watch UFC all the time are saying that. So I think because of that, and it was the first time they fought for a belt, I think it warrants, I guess, somewhat of a rematch, even though it was a 4-time fight there. So I think they're gonna do it again, but we don't know where. And then, you know,
well, Dana announced that Brandon either fractured his wrist or he did something in the first round. So this might be the last time we saw Brandon this year.
Maybe this year. I saw a picture of him he took it with somebody, maybe one of his stable mates, and he just like beat up. He got his hand was in a cast. And then Yair Rodriguez, that one's a little more trickier because like he just got worked. Like he got his ass kicked by Volkanovski. Volkanovski just has a high motor,
machine, dude.
He's a machine. But and then Kevin Ioli, the sports reporter for Yahoo, who covers MMA, UFC very well, he kept saying like he doesn't do anything special, but he just does everything very well. Like he's not an exciting fighter, but he just outworks people. And it was like you get smothered, and you could tell Yair couldn't do anything. Like I wanted maybe this is where the Gilberto curse lives on, because he was getting his ass kicked for the first couple rounds. And he finally got some space. He wasn't on the ground. He was
round.
a couple kicks here and there, and it's like 1 minute to go. I'm like, oh, he fucking won this. Sorry, again, that's my mistake. He freaking won this round because he finally got some space, got some kicks, and then boom, real quickly he got knocked out. I thought it was kind of a quick stoppage, but I called that one too soon. But overall, I think he got dismantled. So what do? You kind of go back down and work your way up again.
The crazy part is that Volkanovski was taking all these kicks. Like there was one kick that he just ate it, and I was like, oh, okay. And he just looks at him and goes, that's one thing that he said though that he needs to work on, that he can't keep on that he keeps on kind of taunting his opponent during the fight. He's like, I kind of got to stop doing that because there's times where these guys are giving me good licks, and I'm just like, nope. I think he said it in the press conference that he kind of wants to stop doing that as much because he feels like that's gonna come back and bite him in the ass one day. But and then Gilbert sat in front of Jamal Murray after the press conference. Jamal Murray was sitting right behind him, and I thought that was pretty cool. He was with Volkanovski the whole night, so it was pretty cool to see that happen. But
sorry I didn't turn around and ask him to jump on the podcast, but he was right behind me.
You know what's funny? Adam even asked, because Adam and I were sitting together. Gilbert was sitting somewhere else, and Adam goes, "What would you have done if that was you?" I was like, I would have turned around and been like, I would have been like, "Hey," I'm like, "You have hardware, he has hardware. You guys are the perfect duo." And then he might have chuckled or said something. And then I would have been like, "Hey, so I got this podcast. We'd love to have you on. What do you think?" And Adam starts laughing, and he's like, "You would do something like that." I'm like, "Hey," I'm sure he'd get a chuckle out of it. And if he said no, he said no, like whatever. And then he's like, "You're not scared of rejection, are you?" I was like, "Sir," I was like, "rejection has kicked me in the face so many times. What's another person doing it?" And he just starts laughing.
Have you seen those TikToks where some dude gets told by his buddy or his compa, like, go shoot your shot. What's the worst that could happen? And then he goes to talk to the girl. She says no, and then like he like falls or something, or like the girl says you're freaking hideous. Like the worst could happen. That's the way I think, but you don't really think like that.
No, I mean, el no ya lo tengo. I'm gonna go get the yes, so why not? But But you already said that you thought that this might not be the best UFC card of the year. Is that kind of where you're going with it so far? Because I mean, the UFC 290, the one in Salt Lake City, that one's stacked too.
Yeah, so I know Moreno and Pantoja were really carrying the card. You know what it was? Maybe I saw the stat though, the quick knockouts, because like you wanted to kind of develop into a good knockout, not like, oh, that's it, 30 seconds. And like maybe that's what I also didn't like, was the stalling for the next fight, because they had to make time. With the first knockout was 17 seconds. That was the first time in UFC history there was 4 knockouts under 30, or no, under a minute. Robbie Lawler, by the way, was another story, good story. 38 seconds, Boneco 38 seconds, Aguilar 17, and then the Brazilian girl who bit the Mexican was 20 seconds there. Yeah. So they made it quick, and then it was kind of boring. And then, but yeah, Moreno Pantoja saved it. And then the main event was also boring because it was not competitive. And I felt like you needed like a Conor McGregor or Nate Diaz for this card. But again, it's still halfway through the year. But I did like the Robbie Lawler moment that he retired. And by one of my favorite fights that I covered in person, maybe the second one in Vegas. The first one I ever did in UFC was McGregor versus Jose Aldo. Whatever that was maybe like 13 seconds, I think it was.
That's when he won the second belt, right?
No, that was when he won the first, but that's when like he finally became a champion.
Okay.
And, I was lucky to be in Las Vegas during that rise of McGregor. Like that was when he really got to the top, and then he became the superstar.
Gilbert has a sick ass poster of I think, is it McGregor Mayweather?
Somewhere in here. I gotta put it. Yeah, McGregor Mayweather. But then the second fight that I ever covered at the MGM Grand, I got to sit in pretty much cage side my first time. I was like, this is pretty cool. And it was Robbie Lawler against Carlos Condon, 5-round war, man. And that's when I really learned about the legend of Robbie Lawler. This guy's a monster. But then he had that crazy quick knockout against Nico Price. He was an underdog in 38 seconds. That it felt kind of like, did this guy do like a Brett Favre, Michael Strahan? Like he just kind of fell over for the sack. That was a little suspicious to me, but I'm like, I'll believe it. Because he hasn't had a first round knockout in 10 years. So I'm like,
they said that, yeah.
But there was I love the knockouts. It was good storylines. To me, I'm being a little harsh on this card though.
You know what I thought was funny? When Dana White was asked, hey, this is the first time that you guys celebrate somebody's retirement. Like, that was pretty cool that you guys had a video montage. Well, yeah, we still had 20 minutes to go on ABC. Like, obviously, we had to cover it with something. And he's like, can you imagine? I thought that was hilarious. Because I thought so. Like, Dan and Daygo messaged me. He's like, dude, has this even started? Like, what's going on? Because there was a long time between Robbie Lawler's victory and the main card starting for it was a good 30-40 minutes of just like hype up videos and this and that. And he asked me, am I watching the correct thing? I was like, yeah, dude. I was like, nothing has started. He's like, oh wow, okay. So definitely interesting. But Gilbert, should Mexican fans expect more from the UFC and their fighters after what happened on Saturday night?
Yeah, they should, because Moreno and Yair were asked constantly, what's it feel like to be two Mexican fighters on the co-main and the main event? Is a big accomplishment in Mexico, and they're like okay, like you guys are finally here. He's like, nah, like we've been here, man. We're taking over the sport. And then you have that performance, like, oh, that was really terrible. Like especially like Moreno, you lost to the guy 3 times, and then Yair not having a chance either. So, and then one question that stood out to me, Mexican media, they love to kind of stir the pot there. Saying big controversy in Mexico, which I believe in Mexico, but not here, that Canelo Alvarez handpicks his opponents and people are fed up with Canelo Alvarez. And it is an opportunity for MMA Mexican fighters to take over Mexico boxing. And what they showed on Saturday, no way in hell that you guys are going to overtake boxing in Mexico. Not right now. You're gaining steam, but you need a superstar like Canelo and also a long, lineage of history. And then sustained it, not like fall apart like that so badly. So, maybe they take a couple steps back, but to see 5 of them on a card, that was impressive though.
I'm going to put it like this. Everybody knows that Team USA, obviously in soccer, hasn't been that good. I feel like right now they're starting to catch up. They're starting to grow, and now they have young stars all over Europe and stuff like that. I feel like that's what's happening right now with Mexico and the UFC. They already had seeds planted. They're starting to, everybody in Mexico knows it's boxing or soccer. Those are the 2 things that you do. Now you're starting to see them in baseball. You're starting to see them in the UFC. You're starting to see more of that growth and the athletes starting to do that. And I feel like in a couple of years, I mean, right now, yes, it was cool to see Yair, Brandon, and I can't remember.
Jesus Aguilar.
Yeah,
And
no. But what's her name? The champion. She's fighting
oh
on November
yeah,
16th.
I'm blacking too. Sorry.
Yeah, I blanked on her
Apologies to
name.
her. We'll get it.
Yeah, no, sorry,
No,
but
something grasso, something like that.
yeah, there you go. So it's cool to see 3 champions at the same time, but it's gonna take a while for them to like be able to be consistent champions, be in the sport, and be able to dominate. I think it's gonna take a little bit, but I think they're on the right path. Like you said, 5 fighters on this card. I think, by the way, I think that card on September 16th might not feature as many Mexican fighters as we thought, just because you already heard Jesus Aguilar said he had to fix something in his teeth. So he's probably out. Brandon Moreno and Yair Rodriguez, the way they looked, I don't think either one of them fights September 16th. So it might just be De Grasso that fights.
If she beats Shevchenko for a second time and makes it seem like it's not a fluke, that's a big one for Mexico.
100%. But yeah, so I just think Mexico is on the up and up. I just think it's going to take them a little bit, but I really do think that they're on the up and up when it comes to the UFC, because UFC is a new thing in Mexico and they're barely starting to kind of realize that it's a different sport. It's fun. It's interesting. It makes you really like, it's not like in boxing. In boxing, you're trying to find a way to beat your opponent, but you're only using your hands. Here, you're using elbows. You're using different things. And you saw in one of those, Volkanovski hit Yair in the head, like he headbutted him, but he kind of like that. I thought he got stunned off of that, and I was like, oh, that kind of like he was kind of all weirded out after that one. So you can use basically anything in there. But yeah, so I think Mexico's on the right path though.
And I've noticed that it's getting popular. And a quick side story, I have a half brother in Mexico, same name by the way, Gilberto. I guess I'm technically the 4th or 3.5 because we have different mothers. But he was like an amateur MMA fighter. So I went to a couple underground shows, and they call him Chile Rodriguez. And people love the underground show. They're like young people under 20. I think I was like early 20s at the time. He was late 20s, just watching MMA underground stuff. So I think it's growing from there. And then the more you see people that have names, the more you want to do it. So maybe eventually, like in 10 years, kind of like boxing here, man. It's kind of a little dead here when it comes to that. So maybe in Mexico, there's a shift, but I don't think it's that time yet.
I agree. Do you think Jesus Aguilar had the KO of the year?
It was a nasty one. I want to know more about him. I don't know about KO of the year. Again,
I think Robbie Lawler. I think Robbie Lawler is going to end up being kind of the like a good story KO of the year. Like,
yeah,
as of right now,
even the guy, the heel right now of UFC, DDP. Drake is Duplessis, whatever his name is. I forget. He had a nice 2-piece for Whitaker, and that was a surprise too. So it was a bunch of KOs.
Nobody expected him to beat Whitaker. Whitaker was a head, or Whitaker. Whitaker was
I think it's Whitaker. Yeah.
Okay, he was a huge like the DDP was a huge underdog.
Yeah, and he got annoyed because people said like he had nothing to lose, like he was a nobody pretty much. He's like, what are you talking about? I have plenty to lose. And then he finally heel came out after you won. I'm like, okay, good, because he has to fight Adesanya, which is now as a UFC reporter said, there was racial undertones there, and Dana White was not happy about that question.
That his answer there, and I said, I just chuckled because we're not used to that. Like, we're not used to guys going up there and throwing out F-bombs and this and that and calling guys scumbag. Well, because of Dan and Daygo, we're used to scumbag, but I mean, like, everywhere else we're not really used to it. So
is it a bad thing when he said scumbag? I thought about Adam Hill right away.
Oh, dude, I was laughing. I was like, oh god. And the funny part, because Adam was sitting next to me, anytime Dana would say anything, I turned and I'd look, and Adam was just in his computer. I'm like, yep, he's not he's God bless him. So
he had a message for the Chihuahua fans that drove to see Yair Rodriguez. That was funny there.
Oh yeah, that was hilarious. I was definitely all about it. But a guy who never lets us down is Dan and Daygo. Let's go to him now and see what he's got cooking up for us.
You're back to me, your boy Dan and Daygo, and let me tell you something. Do not forget to check out our other programs that we have here on the Compas on the Beat network. We got not only the regular Compas on the Beat show, but we also got House of Horns. We got a little What's Up Bolts. What? We got Compas FC. What? And we got Compas, Combat Compas. Do not forget to check all the stuff from UFC 290. You are not going to want to miss it. These videos have been wild. UFC 290 was epic. So do not forget to go out there and check it out. But anyway, let's get back to the program.
Dan and Daygo, we appreciate that. Thank you so much. Now, Gilbert, it is time for rapid fire. Is Andrew Luck is about to be eligible for the Hall of Fame? We all know what happened, how all of a sudden they leave the field for a preseason game or a practice or something like that. They come off, Andrew Luck hits the podium, announces he's retiring. Everybody's like, whoa. I think that was a stunner, kind of the Magic Johnson one. Just like, whoa, what's going on? And the Michael Jordan retiring, like, just there's things like, I mean, he's not at their level, but still. But in your opinion, is Andrew Luck a Hall of Famer?
First of all, I think we were covering the Chargers preseason game when the news broke, and we're like, what the heck is going on? Andrew Luck retired. So it was very shocking. Maybe not to the MJ level, the first Bulls retirement there, but I don't know. Like, he's definitely not going to be a first ballot, so there'll be some time to think about it. And it kind of makes me feel old that time has flown so here where he's about to be eligible too. So because it feels like yesterday when he retired. So, maybe if I don't know if this is an unfair way to judge it. If he played a couple more years, he for sure would have been a Hall of Famer. Like, this guy's talent was on a different planet when it comes to, just the eyeball test there. And then he had a couple playoff runs. Maybe, I don't know how far, maybe he got one AFC title game appearance. I think
that was the Deflategate.
That's right. There you go. And they got their ass whooped, and that's because of the cheating scandal there, apparently. And he was just a good quarterback. And, maybe he got a couple All Pros, maybe, or definitely Pro Bowls. But I don't know. I'll say maybe after like a third or fourth year try, like with maybe he could resemble to Kurt Warner, where he didn't do it for as long. But the guy won a Super Bowl and made 2 Super Bowls, and he won, I want to say, 2 MVPs. So like that resume speaks for itself a little bit. Andrew Luck does not have the accolades like that, so it's going to be pretty tough. And I know I'm kind of giving you an answer, but I feel like he will get in eventually.
I don't think he will. I think he did some great stuff, but I just think it was complete. He had a game where I remember, I think it was his first or second year, the Chiefs were up like 24-3, or like they were up a huge number on them, and he brought them back. He willed them up, and they won. He had some great comebacks. He had games where you thought, oh, he's going to go into I remember he went into Kansas City one time and beat them in a playoff game. He went into Denver. He beat the Broncos one time. Like, the dude was honestly magic, but at the same time, I just don't think he had a long enough resume for you to be like, oh, yeah, he's a Hall of Famer. So I don't think he's going to get into the Hall of Fame, nor should he, I think, in my opinion. I don't think he did enough, but there were some cool moments from him, and I think he did some cool stuff. Gilbert, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. won the home run derby.
That already happened?
Yep. But it had me thinking, which of these NFL quarterbacks who participated in batting practice in Toronto and Cincinnati this year would you pick for the home run derby? Joe Burr or Josh Allen?
I had no idea the home run derby occurred. I didn't know we were at the All-Star break, and I had no idea it was in Cincinnati. But
no, it's in Seattle. My bad.
Oh, Seattle.
I'm saying they participated in their.
Their own. They're like the
softball
thing. I don't know. I've seen Joe Burrow, take a couple swings there, and he looked good. But I want to say Josh Allen because he's bigger, and he could probably get more dingers for being bigger. Go Josh Allen.
I'm gonna go with Josh Allen as well. I just think that the dude is huge. I think he's a power hitter. I think he'd smash the crap out of that ball, and I think he was a better baseball player than Joe Burrow. So I'm gonna go with. I think I'm gonna go with Josh Allen. Gilbert, something or nothing. Bill Belichick is closer to breaking the record for most losses as an NFL coach than he is the record for most wins. I know that'll piss off Dan and Daygo.
Yeah, I can't wait to hear your answer here. But like when you have the most Super Bowl titles and most wins, like and you coach for that long, eventually the loss are going to catch up. So I don't think it'll be an issue there. It'll become a weird little wrinkle in history. But when you have the Super Bowl rings there, 6, right? Because one went to Tom Brady by himself in Tampa Bay. So 6 for him, and I think it'll be okay.
How many does he have without Tom Brady as a head coach? No, I'm just kidding. No.
Two with Bill Parcells.
No. I said as a head coach. I want to see his win-loss record without Tom Brady. That'd be interesting to see too. But no, I don't think it's anything. It's like you said. the losses are going to catch up with you at one point. Obviously, some of these head coaches, they coach for years and years and years and won a lot of games. So obviously, the losses are going to catch up with you. Like you said, I don't think it's anything. I think Bill Belichick obviously is his accolades speak for themselves. But yeah, definitely. I don't put any. It's not like it's going to harm him or anything, in my opinion. Gilbert, while we were on hiatus, 3 more players were suspended for making bets on NFL games: Isaiah Rodgers, Rashad Berry, and Demetrius Taylor. Should the NFL simply just not allow players to make bets on sports, or what should the league do to fix this issue?
Well, yeah. First of all, the rules are really complicated. Like you could bet on non-football games. You know, as long as you do it not at the facility, you could just be at the parking lot and make a bet. Like who's gonna read the fine print for that? Not me. So and then like I don't know. Like it's kind of weird. Like for the longest, they said, "Oh, shame on you. No, nobody should bet on sports, and we're gonna stay away from Vegas and this and that." And now everything is sponsored by all these sports betting places.
Yeah.
So and then like of course you're gonna get a little murky there with the players, and you're gonna do a 1-year suspension for like something small for Calvin Ridley. So I don't know, maybe just say no betting at all, but we'll profit everything here, or maybe get them a cut of the players of the freaking, I don't know, and that way don't bet, but you still make some money here because we're gonna sponsor. We all win here, so I don't know, but it just seems a very hypocritical. Can't even say it. Like a hypocrite. And by the way, I watched Ted Lasso. And there was that scene there with Jamie where you're saying like, hey, I wasn't being ironic, I was being hypocritical. There you go. That made me
laugh. I don't know what they can do. I just really think that the NFL is being hypocritical, like you said, because I mean, you're making all this money off of the betting and off of all this stuff. The only thing is, I think one of the players bet on their team, like he bet on his own team to lose. Like and like people started putting up videos where he missed tackles and stuff. And they're like, he probably said, "Oh yeah, no, I got a bet going," whoop, and missed it. But that's the thing, is that it's gonna be tough. You can't let them bet on the NFL, because then I mean they could throw games, they could do stuff like that. Then when you get into it deep with the Sharks, what's gonna happen? So that's why they don't let the NFL refs hang out in Vegas. They have to be flown in the same. I think they're flown in the same day to Vegas. They do their thing and then they fly out the same night.
I had no idea. Wow.
I believe I read somewhere that they do that. So I don't know what they can do. I just think that this is hypocritical. And like you said, maybe they can get a cut from that too, but I just don't see the NFL giving up any of their money. Gilbert, Ellie De La Cruz, he's a outstanding rookie outfielder for the Cincinnati Reds. I've seen him play a couple of times. He's really explosive. He stole 3 bases in 1 inning. What would be the equivalent of that in the NFL? Can I go first on this?
Yeah, go ahead.
I think it was like Asante Samuel Jr.'s 3 interceptions against the Jaguars in like a quarter and a half. Maybe that's the equivalent to it. I think that would be kind of the one thing. Like I remember he had those interceptions in like, I think it was like 1 quarter had gone by, and then I think 2 or 3 minutes went off of the second quarter, and he had 3 picks already. So I think that, to me, that's kind of the equivalent. I don't know what you think, because it was all 3 in 1 inning.
That's pretty wild. But
yeah,
I'll put it this way: I feel like interceptions are more valuable than sitting on the base in baseball. I feel like an interception could be like a double or a triple. Like they're pretty good. It's not a home run, but I'll say a double. So for me, I will go scoring maybe like 3 2-point conversions in 1/2 or 1 quarter. Like they mean something, but whatever. Actually, I feel like 2-pointers are way more valuable than bases. Now I think about it. But okay, so maybe that's not it. But 2-pointers are very rare to kind of get just 1 or 2 or 3. So maybe I'll go with that one. But it has to be something where like, maybe it's like a yards thing, right? That kind of just helps you out, or an onside kick or something like that.
There you go. Gilbert, there have been photos circulating of parking in Seattle for the home run derby being as high as $120. What's the most money you're willing to pay to attend an event?
This reminds me because are
we talking about parking or the event as a whole? Parking, just parking.
Parking. Yeah. Okay, that's a good question. But real quick on a side story, I was in Vegas, and I took my brother there. You met him for the first time, Luis. Shout out to Luis. Like, cool. Yeah, in Vegas you kind of do other things.
I think I was explaining 90s movies to him, and I felt so bad because I just went on a tangent on 90s movies.
Sounding like an old guy, but in Vegas you kind of forget about water. You drink other things, so we needed to get water, and I'm like, I'm pretty lazy. I'm getting tired, so I was already in a casino. And shame on me, right? NFL. I was in a casino, and I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna get water right here. I don't want to stop. I just want to go take a nap. And that 3 water bottles, I kid you not, almost $20. Like, what the hell are we doing here? I felt like I was getting ripped off. But for parking, if I'm really in a pinch here, I think the most I will do is like 40 to 50. After that, I don't care what it is. I'm gonna find a different way.
By the way, your brother, we were watching Ocean's 11 and he goes, "Oh, he played Batman, right?" I was like, "Oh, no, sir. You shouldn't remember him playing Batman. George Clooney was a terrible Batman. Get that out of your head." And then he just starts laughing. I don't know, dude. Because of the media thing, I'm cheap now. Like, even last year when I was in my Bad Bunny seats, I'm like, why am I with the commoners? I want to be up in the booth. Like, I hate being here. So, I'll go with you, 40 or 50 bucks for parking. I think that's the most, and everybody in the car is gonna split it as well. So
Yeah.
I ain't paying it by myself. So but that's probably the most I do too. Remember SoFi? It's like $100 at times. Like, no, hell no. By the way, quick story. A couple of years ago, the Chargers played the Cowboys at in Dallas on Thanksgiving Day. I'm rolling, right? I'm in an Uber. Nick Hamilton and I were in an Uber, and we're driving, and we see a guy just chilling there in a Walmart. No, in a little parking lot. It was sort of empty, but he was charging $60. Everywhere else was charging $100 a park. He was charging $60. I'm like, oh, okay, that's a cool thing. So next morning, I'm at the airport ready to go. I pick up a newspaper and I read it on the plane right back. That guy had been arrested because that wasn't a legal operation. He would sit there for years on end. I guess he had done it for 3 or 4 years. He would sit there, he'd charge people, but it was just an empty parking lot because none of those people would open their stores that day. So it was just an empty parking lot that he'd go in and he'd charge people and he'd pocket the money. He'd pick up his sign and he'd leave. And that was it. And I guess the cops caught him that day and arrested him. I'm like, wow. I'm like, that guy was a genius. Imagine doing that for so many years. I mean, eventually you're gonna get caught, but I thought that was the funniest.
After a while, like just take your win and stop doing it.
I know. I was like, dude, that's he would charge $60, and they said that his parking lot was always packed no matter what. Wow. And I was like, dude, I
wonder if he took it seriously. Like, he actually watched the cars and made sure everything was okay. And
I mean, you would kind of hope so, but regardless, it was hilarious to see to hear something like that. I'm totally all for that. But Gilbert, it is now time to add the guys.
Oh, I missed those guys.
I know somebody that you completely missed.
Hey guys,
Vic, how was your hiatus?
It was good. It was at first I texted Gilbert because I'm like, hey, I have some ideas, and he's like, no, man, just go away, leave me alone, and enjoy your week, your time off. So I listened to him.
I'm actually impressed you found a lot of NFL content. I'm like, you figured that out. I don't even know what the hell's going on for the last 2 weeks, 3 weeks.
Yeah,
no, like, and he incorporated baseball into it and UFC, so that was a pretty cool way to tie it all in.
Yeah, and we got lucky with UFC. You guys went to UFC 290, so that was pretty cool. But I actually have a parking story, and made me think of it. I know we have to get to Dan and Daygo, but I'll come back to it once we introduce Dan and Daygo. I don't want to keep him waiting.
He go wait. Doing nothing else.
Yeah.
I'm here. I know you missed me. I'm sure your first question when you picked up Brown from the airport was, where the hell is Dan and Daygo? I need my daily dose.
Actually, it wasn't my first question, but I said, how's your brother? Because I feel like he's kind of been a stranger. I haven't heard from the guy, just going very distant. So I don't know if you're going in coach mode or you don't like me anymore. But I was like, hey, I've seen Victor a couple of times. I saw Fernando during the hiatus. I didn't see you at all.
Ya sé que me extrañaste, my love. No te
I don't think you guys have seen each other in a while.
Dude, I've been busy.
I might be the problem here. I don't know.
I was working all summer. Well, not all summer. I was working for a little bit in the summer. I got my coach stuff. I started my master's last week, so that's been a real joy.
That makes sense.
As it is, like I'm like looking at the pages I have to read for this week, all over like 15 pages. So I'm about to throw myself in front of a bus. It's not fun going back to student mode, dude.
Oh.
But Vic, what was your parking story?
No, I remember I remember Gilbert invited me to a Rose Bowl game, and they do the same thing there where going off your story there about the guy in Dallas, and like there was people like doing I never trusted that. Like and because I'm like, there's no way I'm leaving my car in someone's backyard or front yard. And like I couldn't believe how many people just trust people there. I just couldn't do it. I'd rather get the ticket or just pay the extra money going into the Rose Bowl instead of having who knows, something like that's gonna happen. And then you tell that story, and I'm like, I'm glad that I never did that, because it's got to be tough.
It was hilarious when I read it, but you know what? I've covered a couple of Padre games, and one of the games that I went to, this is a different kind of thing, but they were doing the people that are outside doing the hot dog vending and stuff. One guy comes up and he's like, "Cuánto por un dogo?" And he's like, "Oh, I'll give it to you for $2." And he starts like trying to cut the guy down. And the guy's like, "Okay, I'm not going to sell you a hot dog cheaper than Costco." He's like, "Two." He's like, "Eso." He's like, "No, it's tianguis. No, you can't just negotiate and try and
there's no haggling.
There's a price here. It's $2." And the guy goes, 190. And then he's like, "What?" He's like,
he's gonna pull out 90 cents. Is he serious?
Exactly. I was like, "What are you?" And his wife was like, "Ay, ya, deja de discutir. Aquí están los $2. Y si quería otro." And then he's like, "All right." She gives him a $10 bill, and they both got, I think, 3 hot dogs each. And I started laughing. Should I keep the change for him being an ass? And
Dude, at SoFi, they're like $5 or $6.
Yeah, I was gonna say they're way more than $2 now. You're not complaining.
Yeah, they're $5 or $6. That's why every time I smell them, I'm like, it smells good, but it's not worth it. I'm gonna go to Panda or In-N-Out or whatever, depending on how
I found out when I went to the Lakers game, and I wanted one. Oh, it's been a minute. I'm like, wait, how much? $6, $7, $8? Like, oh, and I still bought it because I wanted them. But I was like, God damn. Like,
yeah.
No, you know where they used to. I mean, and I'm kind of aging myself here. When they used to get us is when you were coming out of the club and you're just sweating and they're just there and you're just smelling it and you're just like,
hungry.
Wait, do I have money to be able to pay this? And of course, they always get you like, but that was back then when you can get like you said, 3 for $10 back then.
Yeah.
We where my grandma lived in Guadalajara, we used to we would always hang out as a family and everything, and we'd be up till like 2, 3 in the morning. And at 2 or 3 in the morning, we'd be like, "Vamos a los Dogos." Like right down the street, there was a hot dog truck. They had delicious, like some of the best you'll ever have. Then they started making hamburgers, and Daniel and I were like, "Do we want to try the hamburger?" Oh my God, their hamburgers were even better. And I'm like, dude, and then there, obviously we're the size we are, but you'd get like 1 hamburger, 1 hot dog or something like that. And it's like, came back to bite us in the ass, but still it was delicious and it was good stuff. Definitely.
Hey, and Mexican, we're from Nayarit and Tepic, they also had every corner they sold hot dogs and hamburgers. And for the longest, I thought, I know Americans are supposed to be the good ones at this. I'm like, I don't know. Mexico, these vendors, man.
Dude, they're so good. But you know what's funny? In the United States, you will not try a vendor on the street. But in Mexico, you're like, oh, that's where you get the bombest food. And exactly. So I think that's definitely hilarious. But
and they're way ahead. Like they have stuff that they don't have here for some reason. I'm like, surprised.
I completely. So the Costco and TJ has jalapenos, not relish, coming out of their. I'm like, oh, I'd love for the Costco's here to have jalapenos. That'd be delicious. But
real quick before we move on, Dan, is this a douche moment? Is that you squatting on the shirt, or is that one of your players?
Oh no, that's not a douche moment. That's a goat moment. Look at that frown. It's the goat. The goat. Showing the boys how to squat properly.
That Belichick?
Yeah. That's Belichick. Yeah, look. Hold on.
Wow.
But look, he only has 125 plate on there.
Dude, he's like 80. 80 and 8 Super Bowls later, the guy could put on 400.
No, he went to 9 and lost numerous ones.
I just heard him say he went
losses.
To his defensive coordinator. Does that not go in the trophy case?
No, you want to count him as a head coach. As a head coach.
What other head coach has won 6 Super Bowls?
Numerous.
There you go. Okay. There you go. That's all I needed. The GOAT.
How many did he win without Tom Brady?
Let me ask you a question. Who discovered Tom Brady? What was first, the chicken or the
Robert Kraft?
The egg. Yeah, there you go.
The scouts discovered Tom Brady.
All right. I regret asking him about the shirt. I didn't know it was Belichick, but nice shirt.
No. Well, he threw it at me, so I had to throw it at him back. So obviously, Vic, how was your vacation?
It was good. After I was told to go and enjoy myself by Gilbert, I saw him once. We got to hang out and do kicking Cajun. I saw Our friend Alonso had a man day with him. Went to a Dodger game. Got to eat some good Peruvian food. That was pretty cool. And then went to go visit the in-laws in Oklahoma. That was also pretty cool. And then came back, hosted some of Megan's family. Went to Universal, which I'll get to in our burial of the week. And then went to Dodger Stadium again, and then ended up getting sick. So right now I'm like battling a cold here. So, but outside of that, it was good.
That sucks.
Yeah. So, overall pretty good. But it looks like Dan and Daygo went to Yellowstone. I like that the beer he's got going on now.
Yeah, my mom doesn't like it.
Yeah, no, everybody always gives me crap, but it's like when I'm in school mode, obviously, I'm always shaving in the morning because I'm like, that way, these kids aren't going to complain when I hit them with the dress code because they're not allowed to have facial hair. I'm like, I don't want to hear it. I'm in the proper dress code as well. So I leave it just for right now this summer. And then obviously come school time, I'm going to shave it and it's going to be gone. It's going to be gone because I know what?
No, go ahead.
I know everybody hates on me and clowns on me when I have facial hair because like I have like the Abe Lincoln where it grows right from like the neck, but then like the cheeks are patchy, but my mustache is looking a little bit better. Look at that.
Oh, that's okay.
Well, yeah, obviously, Mr. King of the Mustache over here. Look
by
at
the way,
like 1980. Medellin's running hard, dude.
So I just trimmed it, by the way, but
I can tell. And you got a haircut, right?
Do you do it or does your barber do it?
My barber does. That's why it's fresh. But I grow it myself. How about that? And real quick,
it was an honest question.
What are you guys? You guys are the New York Yankees. You have the players can't have a facial hair or what?
Yeah, no, we're private Catholic all boys high school, so they have a dress code. They got to come in a polo, khakis, or khaki shorts, proper haircut, which I love the proper haircut stuff. When I coach the boys at public school, their haircuts drive me crazy. I got guys with their hair splitting their face in their helmets. I'm like, fellas, get a haircut, dude. Like it's already football time. Like let the hair down come winter time after the season for the ladies and everything else, so you can do your stupid hair flicks and everything else. Like. You'll be fine, dude. Get a buzz cut, high and tight.
How was your hiatus?
It was perfect. I had a good time. We saw The Flash, saw Little Daniel. I just chilled because I know
you like Little Daniel?
No, I hate him. I can't stand him. But that's all right. What are we going to do? He's family. But anyway, just chilled because I know as soon as August rolls, Hell Week and everything else, it's going to be boom, boom, boom. The Masters is already going, so chill. I just tried to chill as much as I could.
Who did you meet?
Who did I meet? Oh, that's right. I met Lorenzo Neal and Corey Leggett. See, Brown, this is why we're a good team. My mind is like a scatterbrain, and then you guide me back to the path. That's perfect. Thank you. I met Lorenzo Neal and Corey Leggett at a camp they were helping out at up north in Fallbrook, right?
Fallbrook, yeah.
Yeah, Fallbrook. That was really interesting. Those guys were awesome, dude. Lorenzo Neal, absolutely hilarious. I loved them. In the interview you guys did. Oh yeah, it was hilarious, dude. Especially all the trash he was talking to Ferrell. It was hilarious, dude. It was glorious. Yeah, so it was a nice chill long vacation. Watched some Team USA. I was excited because I hate this time of the year. So all there is stupid baseball. Okay.
It is now time for Burial of the Week.
Very baseball.
I should. Baseball's so boring. You saw Ha-Seong Kim or whatever his name is stubbed his little pinky toe in the dugout. Has a fracture.
Ha-Seong Kim had he was trying to steal third base and he got picked off by Tommy Pham. Well, he leaves the dugout, or he goes into the dugout and he kicks a water cooler thinking that it was empty. It was full of water, so he stubbed his toe and he's been injured ever since. And it's like,
can you believe that? That's the status of this sport.
So they were like, we don't know if we're gonna put him on IL, and Daniel's like, are you kidding?
What a joke.
Cut him.
What kind of sport is this? So
let them chew tobacco. Let them use juice. Let's make it more interesting.
All right, Vic, what's your burial? I want to hear this one.
Okay, so like I said, I went to Dodger Stadium twice during our vacation here, and then I got to go to Universal Studios. And
did you do the Nintendo World?
No, it was too.
Oh.
It was too long. Like to
I
get. It
thought-
was too. It was a 2 hours wait to get in there. I'm like, I'm not. We're not doing. I'm too old
Yeah.
for that. Anyways, it's not for me. We were hosting her family, so. But we went to this restaurant in the Simpsons area, and they ran out of food first of all, and
Oh
then
my
the only thing.
god.
The
only
burger, the burger place.
Yeah,
Yes.
Moe's or whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Moe's.
Or
Yeah, so
Krusties or whatever.
Yeah. So they run out of food, right? And then all they had were the what are those the the fingers and fries, and of course they're terrible. They're like the worst thing. The corn on a cob was like watery. It was just terrible. And then the food at
Oh.
Dodger Stadium, like every line was bad to go like to all the good food. So I was stuck again with chicken fingers and fries, and it was like the worst food I've had. Like I'm done with chicken fingers and fries unless it's from Raising Cane's at this point.
Oh, don't mention that. That's Voldemort to frown. Don't say it.
Yeah.
Don't say
No,
it.
I don't know why. It just
Oh,
opened in
yeah.
Northridge, Victor.
I know
need to
it
get
just
there.
opened on
You gotta
July
get there.
5th, but I'm not gonna. I'm gonna wait for a couple of weeks because I know how bad it's gonna be there. But yeah, it's been a terrible go of food at sporting events and amusement parks for your
I
guy
still
over
remember.
here.
I still remember when we got the tour of SoFi Stadium, and we got they gave us all the food that they were going to give the fans.
Yeah.
And Gilbert and I, as soon as we ate that, we had to run to the restroom. We're leaving, and Gilbert, the chefs are walking by us, and Gilbert goes, "Hey, thanks for the awesome food." I'm like, "Awesome food? You were just in the bathroom for like 30 minutes." He's like, "Well, what was I supposed to say?" I was like, "You could have kicked their ass." I was like, but obviously, it's just me being a terrible
Dude,
human
I
being,
got
but-
a deep dish pepperoni pizza or cheese from there once. I would have preferred the Uncrustables version of it. That tells you everything. Or not Uncrustable. The what's it called? Lunchable. Lunchable. I would have preferred the Lunchable version of it. Good
Well,
God.
go ahead, Dan. Who are you going to bury?
Yeah, why don't you put it up there so I can remind myself what I'm burying? Oh, that's right, Team USA. So I was so
Dementia.
I was so pissed when I heard the news that Greg Berhalter was coming back. Pep Jr. as Sir Edward and little Daniel fans of him are hoping he turns out to be. I just don't understand it. Like, what was his claim to fame? Tying against England in a game you could have won because England looked weak, and barely beating Iran. Don't you dare look the communist up here.
He's having an aneurysm up there.
Sorry, go ahead.
I didn't hear you. What'd you say?
Is that how he falls asleep?
Yeah. This one probably.
Yeah.
He's over here falling asleep oh my god! Just the ugliest faces. Your face is gonna freeze like that one day.
He's constipated.
Go ahead, talk about your
Have more-
soccer. Continue.
have more
That's so
SoFi
food.
Yeah, I'll just keep it short. I'll just keep it short. I don't like
It was
the way he
laxative.
plays. I think at times, I think of Americans like period on the offensive, on the attack. I hate
Americans.
crap. Americans, yeah, Americans.
On the
So-
offensive.
What about offensive? I'm not offended. I don't care. I can't get offended. It's okay. I like the interim head coach they have right now, or manager, BJ Callahan. I think the biggest difference, for instance, right, when they go down 2-1 or 3-1 against the Netherlands, he doesn't sub off defenders and go full on attack. Why he's still worried, I have no idea. In a knockout game. Last night, Sunday, they played Panama, down 2-1 in extra time. He subs off a defender for an attacker, goes full on attack, tie up the game, they win in PKs. That's what I'm talking about. I want some freaking hard charging, gosh dang, just like, well, whatever. I'm not going to get into historical stuff. Just like freaking the days of old. We are on the attack always. I can't stand this defensive crap.
Gilbert, go ahead, and Dana White called this out, but go ahead and do yours.
Well, I actually want to, give 2 cents on Dan's boring burial. I don't know what the hell you just said, but I have a story for you because unfortunately, your boy here is going to the CONCACAF Gold Cup final at SoFi Stadium.
Are you really?
On Sunday, and honestly, I don't know why I'm going, but I totally forgot about it. But Caroline wanted to take her parents to go see a soccer match. What do you call them? Game?
Yeah.
At SoFi. So she got tickets like maybe 6 months ago. And they were like, oh, crap, we're going to the stupid final. And I'm like, well, huh?
Don't get stabbed.
Well, I don't know. And I'm
Dude,
like,
did you see that? The Mexico fans, my God, dude.
I don't remember the last time actually I did go to a Mexico game, but a really boring one. But it was like in Vegas exhibition or whatever. But I'm like, okay, what the hell? Now I gotta keep tabs on this stupid tournament I don't give two rat's asses about. Like, so I'm checking yesterday, like, okay, like who's gonna be there? Like, it's gonna be
USA.
Fernando told me Mexico, USA. I'm like, okay, because they're playing just the small islands, and then they're gonna beat up on the Canadians. But apparently USA can't beat them because I saw it went to PK. So that's why you're mad, Dan. I'm assuming.
What's the B team or like the C team or whatever?
Is that so? I'm not gonna.
Yeah. It's not the A team. If the A team mopped the floor with Canada in the final of the Nations League or whatever.
So okay, well I tell Caroline you should just sell these tickets and we'll make money back.
What a scumbag!
But I told her watch it be freaking Jamaica and Panama because I was checking to see the freaking map there, and I'm like, I better not go to SoFi Center and watch Jamaica against Panama. So America and Mexico, you better freaking win. Don't let me down because I'm gonna be suffering with this game at SoFi.
So Gilbert, who would you root for if it's the U.S. against Mexico?
He froze. There's AJ Hawk.
I froze. I'm here.
Oh, there you go.
Am I good?
Yeah.
Well, my rule is like if it's like I go with the winning team, but honestly I'm conflicted now because soccer for the longest it would be Mexico, and now USA is shifting because I see Fernando taking a beating all the time for Mexico against USA. But like if it's football, I'm gonna go USA.
I care. I just laugh
basketball.
at it.
You a fan of El Tri?
Huh? I guess so. I remember El Matador, Luis Hernandez. That's the only guy I know.
The days of old are gone. USA style
there you
now.
go. So. But I don't know, man. I guess
I have a funny off-camera Cuauhtemoc Blanco story that our good friend Dante Lacano told me.
Shout out.
But Gilbert, go ahead and do your.
Sorry, I was taking the spotlight there. Just wanted to tell you I'm going to a soccer game.
That's gonna be fun. Go learn some culture. You're uncultured. That's what I try and bring to this show. A little bit of culture.
Have some hot dogs at SoFi, like with the vendors outside.
No,
and then give us a review on the food.
Because it's gonna be Mexico versus or if Mexico does play, he's gonna go get a burrito, one of those birria burritos from the stands.
Oh my god!
It's gonna be worse too because like I cover their events as a journalist, right? And I'm gonna be with the commoners at SoFi. It's gonna be awful.
He put himself in quotation as a journalist.
I can't wait till next week. We need a whole thing.
I'm gonna hate everything. But I am familiar with the public bathrooms there, so I'll just leave it at that.
Oh wait, you're going as a fan, not to cover the game?
No, what the hell? I told you, Caroline bought the tickets for her parents.
I thought you were going to cover the game.
No,
that's gonna be even worse. Hey,
I'm going
you know
as
what?
a spectator.
You know what? Careful, you might run into that. You remember that scumbag Rams fan who threw the cup?
The cup.
You don't remember that? As soon as the stadiums reopened, that lady who threw a cup and a guy thought it was another guy, and they started beating the hell out of him.
The Rams and the Chargers.
Yeah, the preseason game, or whatever it was. You better be careful. She might show up that game. Her suspension might have been served.
She already got kicked out. She can never go back to SoFi.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Wow. Maybe I'll take two eagle heads. A white eagle head and a brown eagle head. Now I think about it, it's kind of racist. And then whoever's winning, I will wear that eagle head for the winner, and I'll support that team. There you go.
Go ahead. Whatever gets you no stabbed,
Gilbert. Make sure you're following Gilbert because we want
updates
from the game.
I was supposed to picture on my threads. Like.
I'll have a surprise for Gilbert next week too.
Just live tweet it, dude. Live tweet it. I'd love to see that.
Okay, Fernando, you keep waiting for my burial, but I remember threads. I'm gonna bury threads real quick because I kept telling you, Fernando, Twitter is dead.
5 burials. What are we doing?
Twitter's gonna die. Why are we wasting our time tweeting? We lost our blue check mark. I'm done with Twitter. I will just retweet whatever, but I'm not using that crap anymore. And I'm like,
I have 2 check marks again on Threads and on Instagram.
I don't even have one on Threads. Whatever. I don't have anything. Okay, but I'm gonna bury Threads because now we're all gonna shift from freaking Twitter to Threads. So it's like it's gonna cancel out. I still have to do tweeting, so I'm annoyed about that. So
no, you're gonna be threading.
I don't like Threads.
Whatever. So Zuckerberg, I'm going with Elon Musk for that fight because he was about to kill something for me that I don't want to do anymore, and you ruined that. Real quick, repeat question of the presser, and I'm gonna just say it, Fernando. A lot of the Mexican reporters can't hear apparently because
wow.
Neither can Dana White.
Why
I can say it. I can say
reporters?
I can say it. Sangre de Mexicano. I can say it. Okay. Hecho in Mexico, but born here. There you go.
conceived in
singling
Mexico,
out
born
a
in the
group of
US
people,
of
eh,
A.
guys?
They will ask Yair Rodriguez and Brandon Moreno all freaking week, what does it mean? ¿Cuál orgullo tienes de estar aquí con dos mexicanos en la same cartelera for 8,000 times? I was going to say 8, but I just exaggerated. But the same freaking question in different ways. And I'm like, why are we asking the same question? Don't you listen? Like, what are you like? But I know Mexican community doesn't care. They want to hear the response they want to hear. So they're going to keep asking the way they want to ask it. So I get that. And the whole Canelo one would make me laugh, and like they really want to make everything dramatic. But also too, there even the Aussies could get it too. The South Africans, the Brazilians, come on, ask better questions. And they kind of I don't know. It's not as bad as the wrestling media, but there were just moments like, come on, let's speed it up here. Let's get to the news and move it on. Let's not grab ass here. There you go, grab ass.
That's not me,
dude. But you know what's funny? It's not even the Mexicans. I heard the end of season presser for like Tom and Brandon, some of those guys. Some of them asked the same damn questions too. Or questions I'm like, bro, what are we doing? Like, I don't care what his favorite color is. Like, let's get to the root of the problem, my guy.
See, you're my audience here.
All right, you ready, Fernando?
I embrace the heel always, dude.
For the 80,000th time.
I know.
Yes,
I think she's in the burial Hall of Fame now.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, we should have a burial Hall of Fame.
You should give her like a plaque when
I know, right? Next week. Go ahead.
So,
sorry.
No. This isn't a burial. It's actually a celebration.
A send-off.
A send-off. Ronda Rousey, according to multiple reports, has told the WWE she is leaving the WWE after she fights Shayna Baszler at SummerSlam. Ronda Rousey, God bless you. Goodbye, adios. Don't let the door hit you on the way out. Not gonna miss you. I hope
she take Charlotte with her.
But I just want her gone. I'm done, dude. Okay, so Shayna Baszler and her are going at it, right? Shayna turned on Ronda, whatever. So they're trying to make Ronda the baby face. Nobody cares about her. Freaking Shayna Baszler tells her, "You have been here for 5 years and still don't know how to talk on the microphone." I was like, "Oh my god!" I was like, "This is glorious." She's like, "You can't even do a proper promo," and it was like just burying the crap out, and the crowd was going wild for her. I was like, "God bless." I was like, "That is amazing." I'm all for it. So it's Ronda Rousey is leaving WWE. Goodbye. Avidaze. Goodbye. Adios.
And that's in the burial Hall of Fame.
Oh, yeah.
Fernando, I was surprised for everybody here. I did a montage of Ronda Rousey's best moments in WWE.
It doesn't exist.
It's over. Okay, move on.
Exactly. So definitely.
I love this. The heel's out today. Let's go.
It's been a long time. It's been a month.
Yeah, for real.
No,
All the bent up energy.
No, she's just the worst. Like, she just can't do anything. She really
what is that video I sent you on IG?
She can do a promo. It sounds like she can't do anything right except.
You know what's funny too? Like, unfortunately, I think the Oprah interview and all her WWE stuff, when they try and bring her up on pictures of old UFC and stuff like that, I don't look at her the same. Like, I'm like, this is a joke. Another one who needs to leave.
Good. The best moments there.
Let me guess. Your elbow's feeling a lot better and you want to challenge for the title at SummerSlam? No, Royal Rumble, that's a lot sooner. Yeah. I mean, it depends on how your elbow's feeling.
What? It wasn't even SummerSlam. It was the Royal Rumble, and she was messing it up.
She's so bad, dude.
That's like, honestly, like it just, she didn't do her homework at all. She's just terrible. She's the worst. Adios. Strike 3, you're out. Get out of here. Don't ever come back.
With her.
Right now, Trish Stratus is back at 46 years old. Oh,
shut up,
Addie.
Now we're back.
We need to get an alarm for you, Frown.
But Trish still looks amazing, and she's wrestling better than Ronda Rousey. She's on the mic better than Ronda Rousey. It's incredible. But yeah, let's move on to avocado roast. Let's see. Let's start off. I'll start it off. I watched The Flash during the break. Oh, I finished that 70s show. The last season, it was all right. Not as strong, but great show overall. I thought I honestly was missing out. I'm glad I watched it. It gives me a little bit more appreciation for Ashton Kutcher just because I didn't like him at all. But Kelso is he's hilarious. I just finished that 90s show, by the way. I could get through it. I didn't like the kids. The kids are whatever, but Kitty and Red are hilarious. Like they just take it
kids
up
and
a
their own
notch, even
show.
that old. Yeah, it's even like when Red tries to explain to Kitty that she's old, and like it's just hilarious. Like the whole thing. I guess they're doing a second season of it, but which I don't mind. But I just loved how when the granddaughter was there, and obviously Ashton Kutcher comes back, he's like, Red, what are your granddaughter's intentions with my son? He's like, get the hell out of here, Kelso. So I thought that was hilarious. But other than that, I just but my bad. Going back to the Flash, I don't like Ezra Miller. I think the dude's a complete scumbag. The movie was all right, but Michael Keaton stole the show. I think Michael Keaton was the best thing about it. He was hilarious. His character was great. I love the shout out that they gave Alfred, obviously, because in the 4 movies in the 90s, Alfred was the guy that was Alfred the whole time. I love the twist at the ending where it was a different Batman, which was great. I wish they would have tried to get Christian Bale in there, but obviously he said he would have only done it if Christopher Nolan would have been there. But definitely, I thought the movie was all right. I'll give it a 78. I thought it was good, but Michael Keaton for me stole the show. I like some of the things that they added at the end, but just the whole storyline to me was a little wacky and weird, and I don't know.
That's crazy to me. You like the last Spider-Man, that storyline of my friends can't go to college because they know who I am.
You know what killed it for me? You know what killed it for me? I watched Flash the show. And I thought Flash the show, Grant Gustin did an incredible job. I should have just gotten him. Him and Stephen Amell had said that they were both signed on to do movies. They were going to be a part of the movie aspect of it as well. Obviously, DC went through their changes and they ended up getting scrapped. But I thought it was terrible that it wasn't Grant Gustin that did it. But I mean, hey. But that's the only reason, because I've seen that storyline. I've seen how Flashpoint was in the show, and it was a lot better put together than this. But like I said, Michael Keaton, for me, if it was just Michael 100%. Keaton, I'd give him a 90. I give it a 95%. But because of Ezra Miller and some of the other stuff, I had to give it a 78.
Best movie DC's come out with, I think, though.
Yeah. I'll give you that one.
Supergirl was hot though.
Oh yeah. Dan and Daygo kept on talking. Dan and Daygo and Little Daniel would not shut the hell up about
She's Colombian too.
Yeah.
So.
Is she? Oh wow, that's pretty cool. Yeah.
Sounds like one reason to watch it apparently because this movie.
No, there's 2. How dare you?
Don't saw the trailer and it looks awful.
Don't disrespect Michael Keaton, the GOAT.
Michael Keaton.
I don't care for DC movies apparently.
Vic, go ahead.
Well, I'm gonna start with the Bear season 2. We did a podcast. Shout out to Gilbert for joining us. Megan, my fiance, we did a podcast on it. It was just a great season overall. It's probably the best show I've seen now for the last couple years. We didn't know what to expect with season 2, what was going to happen, and they just turned it up. Honestly, guys, this is not just me telling you, Fernando and Dan, it's a great show. Like, you guys would love it. I feel like it has a lot to do with kind of. It's on FX or Hulu.
Nobody knows what FX is, Victor.
Yeah, that's true.
I do. It's channel 33 on my TV.
You still watch that?
Yeah, why not?
I don't watch the regular TV. Sorry.
Yeah, so I think you guys would like it. It deals with different personalities, and people of different races and different ages of where they are in their life, and I think it kind of has a lot of things that we do here on Compas on the Beat and how we're trying to grow, the podcast and everything that we're doing. It kind of relates to that. I don't want to give too much away, but I think it's 100% on Rotten Tomatoes. I think the audience score is 93% for season 2. So it's been a great show. And then the other thing I just saw
main guy looks like Willy Wonka.
You know what? I actually said that.
Yeah. He's from Shameless. He's Lip from Shameless, if you've ever seen that show.
Okay.
Yeah. And then Outlaws on Netflix with the guy from Workaholics.
Oh, that movie was funny. Oh, we haven't watched the end, Dan.
Yeah, it was hilarious. Honestly, it was just a fun movie to watch. I probably give it a 75 Like it wasn't. It's not something where there's a reason why it's on Netflix and not in a movie theater. But I just
Pierce
just thought it
Bronson
was.
was hilarious.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's hilarious. I don't know if is he British? I don't know if he's
That's what
Irish.
Dan looked it
Irish.
up. He's
Yeah,
Irish.
his accent was kind of weird. I don't know if he lost it.
Yeah.
Like the guy from Sons of Anarchy was English, but he lost his accent, so now he sounds all weird. He sounds.
But I think
confused.
that's what these action guys need to do once they're done. Like convert to comedy. You can do. Pierce Bronson did a great job in what's that movie with Mel Gibson? Daddy's Home 2.
Yeah,
I thought
Yeah.
Mel
Shout
Gibson
out.
was
And he
hilarious.
was
Like
in Mrs. Doubtfire, remember?
exactly. Yeah. Like when you're able to do that, when you can switch over to comedy as a like Liam Neeson, I'd love to see him do more comedy stuff. I think he could be funny in it, especially with his one-liners and all the stuff that he
was
does. In
funny
his
in the
other
Lego
movies.
movie.
Oh, I've never seen that Lego movie.
Oh.
But yeah, my bad. Vic, go ahead.
No, that was it.
okay.
The Outlaws. I probably would have given a 75. And then in terms of the Bear season 2, I said 95. Just because there was a couple of things where some of the episodes were kind of slow, but outside of that, I mean, perfect show there. And I actually want to ask Gilbert something that I forgot to ask on our podcast, and that is, what were your top 3 episodes?
Oh man,
If you can rank them 1 to
I
3.
ain't gonna remember.
Yeah, he doesn't even know what Harry Potter he was.
Okay, so here, let me give you Fishes. Episode 6 was the Christmas episode. All right. Honeydew was the Marcus episode, and then you had Forks, which was the Richie episode, and then the finale was the Bear.
You know what? I wasn't big on the Marcus one, kind of slow, but I would definitely Fishes, Forks, and then I'll go with the finale just because you finally see the restaurant come together. So those 3 are definitely my favorite.
All right.
Zeke,
Gilbert, go ahead.
yeah, I think I feel like we all could use plenty of time here because we've been away for a month, but I'll be real quick. I finally finished Silo. Definitely check that out. It kind of has highs and lows, and they just do enough to like hook you into like, what's going on here? Oh, I want to know more. And then it kind of.
Did you finish Manifest?
No, I haven't. I got to do it. But yeah, it's a lot, man. I'm a busy person. Okay. But yeah, who cares about Harry Potter? I already
Harry
finished
Potter
it.
and the Stone of Azkaban. That's my favorite movie.
I saw the finish. Like the boy who died, and he comes back and he just ruined it. Whatever.
Boy who died.
Whatever. Harry Potter. And then
we need to do a live watch. Just recording
boy who lived.
watching Harry Potter.
I get it. It's a fantasy movie, but when you come back from life, that's the dumbest thing you could do. Okay, whatever. Okay?
The Resurrection Stone.
It's
my
lazy.
guys
It's
are
lazy
wizards.
writing, and we've seen it too many times in history. Shout out Jesus Christ. Okay, you come back to life. And then Silo. I think you guys should watch it, especially like the back end, like maybe episode 7 or 8. You're like, oh, it's getting good, and you really want to just see it finish. It was a good ending. I'm hooked for season 2. Definitely, I'll give it a score here, an 84%. I liked it that much. And this one, I'll give the joke to my partner Caroline because I couldn't figure out the name of it, but she called it Seth Rogen's Neighbors Knockoff on Apple TV. And I remember it's called Platonic. I think it's not the greatest show, but it's funny and it made me laugh. And I really thought I was watching Neighbors 3 or whatever the hell, like with the daughter being grown up or something. But it's a good kind of random comedy about like having like a guy best friend for a lady and then like kind of getting the husband to be okay with it. It was weird start, but pretty funny. Check it out, Apple TV. And then two shows for Apple TV. I usually watch.
I was gonna say, I know
had 5 burials.
No.
Hold
on. I was
gonna
say, I know we don't have the time, but we should talk about the fact that Apple TV is starting to have really good shows on their streaming platform.
And I
they
even
had
started
that movie with
watching
Chris
Ted
Evans and
Lasso.
Ana de Armas. They had the Ted Lasso. They've had some good.
They got to a point like after you finish a series, it just plays something else, and I started watching some alien show about it. I haven't really got into it, but Ted Lasso.
Describe stuff makes me laugh.
Okay. Ted Lasso after the first
I wonder how you give directions on how to go
that way. After
just
Ted Lasso
left
was
right
boring
there,
at first, was good. It got better, but I haven't finished it. And then real quick, check it out. I told you about it, Fernando. About that one
8
scene.
minutes ago. Jesus
Yes, real quick. What it's for, different whatever. watch the Arnold documentary
documentary.
on Netflix.
Yeah, I've heard great things about
I
it.
really enjoyed watching that. And they
Is
kind
it
of cut
3
up.
parts?
Yeah, 3 parts. It's
you go.
the bodybuilding phase. Also, when they show how he grew up, which is some good stuff there. The acting phase, which when the acting phase, I'm like, I had no idea it took him that long to break through. So, and then obviously the governor phase, which also was pretty interesting. And real quick, I know you guys haven't watched, or maybe you have, Victor. I haven't got to it because I haven't got to it.
That's gonna be our next T-shirt. Real quick. Gilberto on down to 15 minutes.
No,
later.
it's real quick on the analysis of each show, okay? Not the segment here. Okay?
Yeah, we've been gone for a month.
Yeah, and I haven't got to it, but I'm so excited for The Witcher 3 to come back because Superman, I forgot his name.
Henry Cavill.
There you go, Henry Cavill.
Witchcraft, The Witcher, but not Harry Potter.
Yeah, he is so much better.
There.
He is so much better at The Witcher than the stupid Superman thing. So that's
No, he was not. He was a great Superman.
No. I don't
Dude,
care for those movies. Stink.
Give him the L.
Stink.
L take.
Stink. And I'm so mad that Thor's nobody brother is gonna take over The Witcher. So I'm gonna enjoy the season 3. I haven't started, but I will, and I'm done.
All
right. Dan and Daygo.
Oh, I saw Sound of Freedom not too long ago. And
when
honestly,
I saw this, by the way, I'm sorry to cut you off, but when I saw this, I wanted to hear about this because it's blowing up on TikTok and it's being made into a big deal that I'm actually glad that you watched it because I kind of want to hear about it. So go ahead, Dan. I'm sorry. A lot of people are talking about it. So
yeah, I honestly think it was an excellent film because I think human trafficking, just period, is not talked about enough in our society today. I think, in my mind, it would be a unifying topic, but apparently, based on what some people are saying online, other places, they don't like the movie for whatever reason. But I think it does an excellent depiction. Like, I almost call The Exorcist, the original, as a documentary of what an exorcism looks like. This is almost the same thing. Like, it shows essentially the steps of what happens without you having to watch, graphic material that's, obviously abhorrent and disgusting. And I think, honestly, it's such a strong movie in the sense that, like, you have to be wary. Like, I completely believe there's evil in the world without getting on a whole sermon. Don't worry, you won't burn, Gilberto. Just give me a quick second. But I'm very aware, like, when I'm out with my nephews, my nieces, or, even hell, some of the players, when we go out to eat or whatever, I'm very aware of, like, what's going on because especially, little kids who are defenseless, like, you have to keep an eye on them, especially in public areas because, the devil takes many shapes and forms and they'll promise you all kinds of things. And then you'll never see your kids again. And to me, it's so alarming the fact that this is happening and no one's talking about it and no one's really trying to do anything. And it's just honestly insane. Like, if you haven't seen the movie, you should go check it out to see what it's about because human trafficking is a real thing, whether people want to admit it or not. Human trafficking, the drug stuff, like all that stuff is intertwined.
And it's not just children, it's women as well.
It's all of it. It's not just, exactly. It's not just children, it's women as well. Like, there's so many, like they say at the end of the movie, there's more slavery today essentially than any time in recorded history. And it's absolutely insane the way they still traffic, and sell human beings. Absolutely insane. And I always try and, like, the message I always try and give to younger people who I come in, like, last thing, and then we'll move on because I'm not trying to take all the time like someone over here, but I always try and preach to the boys, like we just had our senior essentially last meal together, and I told them before they left, I'm like, be active fathers, be men of character, be men of substance. Like, you guys have to be active in your kids' lives, active in your community, because you essentially are responsible for their safety, like it or not. And I always tell them, like, you have to. The hard road is a hard road for a reason. The easy road promises a lot of lies and things that won't happen, but people always want to take shortcuts. So
there's a Walmart right up a couple of blocks away from us where we grew up going to that Walmart. And a couple of weeks ago, one of my friends posted that she was being followed in the Walmart by a guy, and that when she was walking out, she noticed a white van parked right in front, and she was walking, and the dude was walking behind her. Well, the clerk, one of the clerks, runs up and goes, "Ma'am, you forgot your credit card. You need to come back." And she's like, "Oh, okay." And then she's like, "I thought I put it in my wallet." No. And then he's like, "Ma'am, you were being followed by that guy." And then she's like, "What?" And then they take her to the back. They showed her on the security cameras that they the van pulled up. They had opened the door. The guy was going to shove her into the car, and they were going to take off. Well, they showed her how everything was going to happen, and she's like, "Oh wow, I need to be more alert." So, I mean, honestly, it's like once it's close here, once it's here, so close, you're like, "Oh crap!" Like you need to be. And that's why, like, usually when my mom or Melissa are like, "Oh, we're gonna go to the store," I'll be like, "Hey, I'll go with you guys. I'll drop you off. I can pick you back up, all that stuff," because you just never know. So,
and you always hear about those stories about people, tying things to your what's called door handles, leaving bills on your windshield and stuff like that to get you distracted. Like it's real. Like don't fall for the okie doke, dude. You always got to be prepared. That's why
now they're leaving like tissue at the gas station, like in where you press on the handle. So you press it, and then obviously it like has some substance I can.
Oh yeah, we had whose relative that recently happened to got some date rape type thing, amnesia, took him to the ATM and pulled out money. Like it's insane.
It's crazy. But
before we move on, I just wanted to say it's just a little history on this movie that Dan and Daygo was talking about. So it was released on July 4th, and it made $15 million just on July 4th, and it actually beat out Indiana Jones, which we will kind of get into on our next.
And the director's Mexican.
Yes, he was actually a actor in telenovelas. He started in Soñadoras. I'm sorry, I used to watch that, but he did another. But the film was actually also, I think Mel Gibson was involved in it as well, and it was done like in 2016 or 2017, and then that's when it belonged to 20th Century Fox, and then with the whole merger with Disney, it got kind of lost in the shuffle, and it went to Angel City Productions, and then now they put it out, so it's only out domestically. And like I said, there's a lot of talk about it because like it's kind of being blacklisted by a lot of the media networks and stuff like that because they're trying, I guess they don't want stuff like this to be shown. They're telling kids not to go watch it because there's a lot of graphic stuff. But like as Dan and Daygo, that's why I wanted Dan and Daygo. I was glad that he saw it already because there's a lot of people talking about it and they're trying to spread the word to go and watch it because it's worthwhile, and you need stuff like this that is kind of like it's considered an indie film, and it also has an important message.
Like it's cool to go to a movie and like get lost in like Harry Potter or like movies like that, but it's like you also need stuff like this to kind of open the eyes of people to say, hey, you need to be careful of your surroundings no matter where you are.
And the other thing is too, they're like wondering why this film is beating the crap out of because they compared the budgets, and I think Indiana Jones had like 300 mil or whatever, and this one operated with I think less than 20 mil. And it's like, dude, like it's so crazy to me that we haven't finally grasped the fact that it's like no one wants to see Indiana Jones and the mystery of the retirement home. Like, it's ridiculous. I don't need a 6th movie of this. I don't need another, this. I don't need a live action of that. It's like there's real stories to be made. And, like, all the ideas just coming out of Hollywood is just garbage, absolute heaping garbage. It's ridiculous, dude.
All right. Well, we're gonna do another special edition of
Avocados. Real quick. Not
real quick.
What is your go-to movie franchise? Vic, go ahead.
I'm just gonna stick with Mission Impossible. I like the first one, and then the last 3, like what Fast and the Furious tries to do, Tom Cruise is able to do with the Mission Impossible movies.
I can't wait for the one that comes out in 2 weeks.
And then the one that's coming out in a couple of weeks, as you talked about. So, I know we're tired of the franchise, but Tom Cruise knows how to do this, as we saw with Top Gun Maverick. And so I'm willing to go and spend my money just because I know it's a good product and it'll have some kind of good story, even though he's trying to take the next movie to the next, level. So for me, it's Mission Impossible, guys.
Go ahead,
He's going
Jackass.
after you today, Frau.
Go ahead, Jackass.
Raising Cane's and Fast and Furious.
Oh, wow. And speaking of retirement home, Mission Impossible. Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
But anyway, my turn.
Thank you, Dan and Daygo. Okay, let's go.
What a scumbag. This is the type of garbage I have to deal with on a daily. But anyway, just a real quick, unlike, again, the stooge up top who wants to take 80 years to explain his point. My go-to franchise, 100% Back to the Future. Don't make another version of this. The original's perfect. I think all three films are very good, even though a lot of people don't like the Western, but I love the Western. I love Westerns if you haven't noticed
Hey,
yet.
by the way, they're trying to. They're trying.
Yeah.
They want
Don't do
Tom,
it. Yeah.
They want Tom Holland as Marty McFly.
No. It's going to be garbage, dude. It's going to be garbage. No.
Don't do it.
The originals. I think Back to the Future are one of the only like trilogy or like franchises where all of them is good. Obviously, except Harry Potter, because I think that one is just peak. But Back to the Future for sure is my go-to.
Go ahead.
I'm not a big franchise guy because I'm not a sheep follower like you guys. So I look for indie movies like Dan sometimes. But yeah, Will said earlier, by the way.
I love how he doesn't mention it though. He just says I go for indies.
I still go to indie films. But I really didn't know what to pick. But I do enjoy watching the John Wick films. I know John Wick won't be on top of everybody's list, but those movies, all four, if you want action, nonstop kick ass,
and they're making another one.
They keep going, and he's not as old as Tom Cruise or
Vin Diesel.
Vin Diesel and Harrison Ford. So keep doing your thing, Keanu
You're
Reeves.
comparing Vin Diesel to Tom Cruise and Harrison Ford?
I didn't say it.
No, that's why I'm saying in general.
I don't like Keanu Reeves.
In age.
Keanu Reeves is awesome.
All right.
No, don't like him.
I'm gonna go with a franchise that's inspirational.
Don't say Fast and Furious.
Obviously, it's one of the greatest franchises of all time. It is the Rocky series. That's my go-to. I love watching Rocky. I think the first four movies are incredible. The fifth one I could have done without, even though I love when he fights Tommy Gunn in the street. And I love when what the big old dude tries to do his best. What's the name? What's that? The promoter's name? The Al Sharpton looking guy. No, what? Don King. He tried to do his best. Don King. He's like, touch me and I'll sue. He's like, sue me for what? Like, that's a great line. I thought they did okay with the Creeds were good. The first one was good. Second one and then the third one, I was like, I liked it, but not having Rocky there hurt me. So, but he said Sylvester Stallone came out and said he's written a seventh movie for Rocky, but that the reason why he doesn't release it is because he's fighting with that dude. I think Vic mentioned it a couple of weeks ago.
When Creed came out.
That he's fighting with the dude. But I just think Rocky's a great franchise, and I think they do a lot of really good stuff. But speaking of really good stuff, this was another great episode. We are back. We're excited about everything coming up. Like I said, bear with us. It's going to be a hectic couple of weeks, a couple of months, but we appreciate you guys so much for rocking with us. Don't forget to check out Compas on the Beat merch.com for all your go-tos there. Don't forget to check out compasonthebeat.com, and don't forget to check out everything on Compas on the Beat. Everything's coming back. Don't forget to check out all the videos that Gilbert got from UFC 290 the week leading up to it. Then obviously we got some stuff at the fight when we were both there. Some great stuff from Dana White. You guys aren't going to want to miss out on any of the stuff that Dana said or Usman or any of these guys. It was some great stuff that we got. And don't forget to check out everything else. We got What's Up Bolts. Folks, somebody was telling me the other day they're excited. They can't wait for What's Up Bolts to get to 1,000 subscribers.
Yeah.
Why? Because one lucky viewer will be having lunch with Dan and Daygo. So
I'm not that interesting, trust me.
A couple of people have already shouted me and have told me, hey, I can't wait because we want to have lunch with Dan and Daygo. So definitely there's some excitement there.
By the way, my sister said that a friend of hers told her that if there was a way to get a date with Dan and Daygo, so
You're lying. Stop.
I'm not lying. I'm not lying.
Stop the cap.
Wow.
Stop the cap.
So
I don't know what's wrong with this lady, but go ahead.
House of Horns as well. A lot of interesting stuff coming out from the Rams season. Some people are expecting them to surprise. Others people are expecting them to have a bad season and be up there for Caleb Williams. We'll see what happens. But Vic and Gilbert got you covered on all things there. Combat Compas, obviously some good pay-per-views are coming up for WWE. Obviously, we're going to have some more stuff out of UFC 290. And then obviously the UFC from Salt Lake City is coming up. Gilbert and I will have a breakdown of that. By the way, go check out the videos because Emmanuel Morgan's been bugging us, a good friend of the show, bugging us about jumping on. Go check out those videos. Say how much you guys love Emmanuel Morgan. And lastly, Compas FC, we also took a little bit of a break, but it's back. It'll be back this week. So we appreciate you guys so much for checking out everything. We appreciate you guys for supporting us, for letting us take this month-long hiatus, but we're back. We're better than ever, and we can't wait to keep on rocking. So, Gilbert, ¿sabes qué? Vámonos.
Yeah, we've done so much. We're barely halfway through the year. We got the Super Bowl.
What?
We got
What?
the UFC 290 International Fight Week.
What?
We got WrestleMania.
What?
And we got Power Slap. That's how big we're doing it here on the
What?
TV network. Yeah, what?
Oh, AJ
This
Hall.
guy.
But we
He's
had
gone.
so much content still on the channel. That tells you how hard we work. We're grinders here. Nowhere to go but up. On that note, ya nos vamos. Pues, vámonos.
No grab assery.